Barnstable this morning. On this Monday morning, I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live in studio, Town Manager Tom Lynch. Tom, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Did you have a nice weekend?
I did. I actually got out on my bicycle yesterday.
Ooh, very good.
It's good. I love this warm December. It's
Yeah, you know, maybe we've had a short winter. It was cold a while ago. It seems.
maybe.
I don't know.
How about you? Did you enjoy the weekend?
Yeah,
as well?
it was. You know, when you have the better weather, you can get out and do things and keep everything up. And we got the Christmas tree up, so that was a big deal.
Excellent. Excellent.
But we're all set. So
Indeed.
there's been lots happening.
There has, and of course, again, we receive a nice nod from the GFOA.
The Government Finance Officers Association is really the premier national organization that deals with financial matters, a trade organization, and annually they give out awards, distinguished budget awards, and really only a very few communities qualify for that. And Barnstable has had a nice string now on a 15th year in a row of getting that award, and I think what it signifies is that there are four areas. You know, they look at it as a policy document. They look at it from the financial plan that we have, how it's an operational guide that we operate under, and then how it's a communication device in terms of talking to the public about where their tax dollars are going and how they're being spent. So. They have a team of individuals that rate you, either outstanding, proficient, whatever that category might be. And Barnstable, again, received the highest, the Distinguished Budget Award, with Presentation Award, which is the highest you can get. So we're very proud of that. And I think when you dig into the comments that the reviewers make, and you know, some of them included, the manager's budget letter is very well done, and you know, I spend a lot of time on that. I want to make sure that it's outlining what's happening in the budget, so anybody reading it can figure it out. And it's good to see a national group look at that and say, we followed that, and there's how it was. They noted that we have comprehensive strategies that are you know, used in the formulation of the budget. They said great job overall, compliments the staff, and I have to agree with that because there's a whole team of us that work putting that together, and we're in that mode right now. Capital budget submissions have been made, and they're going under review. Then, of course, we're still working on the operating budget. I'm getting pieces of it as we go along. For instance, the Cable Advisory Group just held their meeting. They look at aspects that in terms of how we fund school functions, or make recommendations to me. So you're putting this all together over the next few months, and so we'll be working very hard on that. So, but we're very pleased that the town again is showing that it's managing its finances well, and it's being recognized by the Government Finance Officers Association.
Absolutely, and for 15 years in a row is a pretty wonderful achievement, and really a testament to the hard work of the staff and really how everyone works so well together to get that out there.
Yeah. Not an easy job.
No, definitely not an easy job. Not an easy job at all. So last week I also met with the Steamship Authority.
Well, we have at least an annual meeting, but I often meet more often than that. But we met last week. I met last week with Wayne Lampson, who's the general manager there. Bob Jones was there. He's on the Port Council, which is like an advisory group to the Board of Governors, and Bob O'Brien, who's from Barnstable Village, who's our representative on the Board of Governors, organized the meeting. And we talked about a variety of things. You know, we looked at some of the parking concerns that they have, and which is always an ongoing matter. And then they have a new vessel coming in that they hope to see in the fall. So they talked, in the spring, and we talked about that and where it might run out of, and I think it may be doing some shoulder season trips.
Oh, great.
Probably as early as as next fall, you know, out of Hyannis. But I think mainly it's going to be based out of Woods Hole, be state of the art, you know.
New high speed.
Yes, yeah. And then we looked at you know, scheduling and you know, talked about things of that nature. So it's from my perspective, they do a really nice job working with, you know, with town officials so that we have a clear idea of what they're doing. And shortly after that, we had the news. Bud Brialt called me late last week, and I believe it was Friday, and mentioned that the Island Air had suddenly suspended operations and looked like they're going to file for bankruptcy. So you have one mode of transportation, supporting the islands, having some financial difficulties, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on some of the other transportation resources we have. I feel really bad for the employees who, and we had very little notice on this, and to suddenly see them suspend operations, and a lot of their planes are leased, so they've flown off, and
wow.
they're going to have to deal with creditors. So.
Absolutely, and really, I was very surprised to hear that news, and that really is, if not one of the only, freight services, because I think Cape Air might do a little bit of it, but Island Air really a big part, so will be a big hole to fill, and especially for those employees to get that notice and not have a job is kind of scary.
This time of year, and no additional protections there, just so we'll. The airport manager, Bud Brialt, is following that very, very carefully, and we'll be, getting information from him on it. It's a private enterprise. There's not a lot that you can do to step in to assist with, but we did. I do know that prior to their suspension of operations, they were trying to deal with some of the other carriers to see if something could happen. So there's a void there. Maybe it'll get filled. The private sector will figure out some other way to provide those services, and we hope they will, and bring some jobs back to the airport.
Sure. Let's talk about Three Bays preservation. There was a meeting last week. They, of course, have worked very hard to preserve the Three Bays area here in town.
And it's a really good, and Lindsay Council's their executive director, and I went over with, met their new leadership, and also Andy Gottlieb was there from the Water Protection Collaborative over in the county, and we talked about some of the priority concerns they have in terms of helping deal with nitrogen loading in our bays and estuaries, and also some of the freshwater concerns that they have, and they're a good example of a group that not only is willing to devote their time and energy to looking at problems that the town is working on, but also they're willing to bring some money to the table to try to help us deal with an area that they care greatly about. So, when you have that sort of partnership and willingness to deal with specific problems, and it was good for me to hear firsthand their 4 or 5 priority areas that they were looking at. And since the meeting, I've already, reached out to Mr. Council to say, listen, is there a way we can help with Mill Pond, or, and further it along. So that'll be one of the things I'll be looking at this week in terms of talking to staff about ways to further interact with the Three Bays group.
Absolutely, and I think it's important to have organizations like this who do care about specific watersheds, specific areas, because they can do so much advocacy and really science that helps keep all of our waterways protected.
And they haven't been afraid to bring experts in, and that helps us as we try to navigate and get permits and bring about some change in that area. So it was a very, very informative meeting, and I was pleased to be able to be there.
Wonderful. A big night for Judy Weldon-Scarafile this weekend, and I am regretful that I could not be there, but I heard it was just a phenomenal party, of course, as she retires from the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Well, and a wonderful group. The Cape Cod Baseball League has put so many individuals into the majors, and Lou Maloney from the Red Sox, and currently on WEI Radio was there as the Master of Ceremonies, did a wonderful job of moving it through. Met a lot of baseball officials. She's really made her mark, clearly, with the Yawkey Foundation, Coaches Association, and so many others that got up, and they not only had a story about her professionalism, but there was a good humor along the way. So it's been a good ride for her, I think, in terms of enjoying it and bringing a spark to that whole area. The other thing that I thought, Lynn Poyon spoke, and Wendy Northcross, they talked about all of her community involvement that's in there. So we forget that the work with the Red Cross, being on the chamber board, the effort she does with, 9/11, putting together that memorial ceremony over in Barnstable Village. And I mean, the list went on.
It's a massive list.
And it's another example of individuals we have in Barnstable who, commit, in addition to working, she had a professional career. She was a pharmacist and graduate from UConn, and, in addition to that work, did all this community service work. So hats off to her. And we have McKeon Field down there, and where the Harbor Hawks play, and we've designated the diamond as the Judy Walden Scarafall Diamond. So I think that took her a little bit by surprise, and she was pleased to hear that. And that was a surprise. So we'll see how that all works out.
Excellent, and I know that her community involvement, while she's stepping away from the baseball league, her community involvement will continue. So we certainly haven't heard the last from Judy. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Tom, I thank you so much as always for joining us here on Barnstable this morning. More to come. Energy Coordinator Richard Elrick is next here on BTM.